Chunty.
Hi. Yes. Episode 21, I think this is. Getting another one out pretty quick to catch up from last week. So I think I'm actually one behind now. So we'll just get this one done on this weekend, then we can jump into another one later on this week. I mean, there's been a couple things that happened when I woke up this morning that I was like, well, damn. I don't know if I want to wait around to talk about this until Thursday. And I've got a free afternoon of doing absolute sweet. How many seconds is it into the video now until YouTube realizes that there's profanity? Is it a minute? Almost. 58, 59, 60 seconds. Doing sweet fuck all on a Saturday afternoon to do this. And I want to do some drawing later on tonight. So I know YouTube doesn't like this, but if you are familiar with Twitch, I have a channel over there, which now Mixer is gone. I'll just be using that just to keep my drawing live streams separate off the channel. I think that's a smart way to go. I was going to just upload everything to this YouTube, but I think that might just make some people cranky. So I'll just keep them separate, whatever. And I'll just upload my speed drawings to YouTube only. But yeah, look, I haven't got any games since the last time we spoke. They're still all coming in the mail because, the way the situation is. I think the ones I'm waiting on now is Lost Planet, which is coming from Victoria. Victoria, Australia. So, hopefully by the time it gets here, it's not covered in COVID-19. Nah, it should be right. I'll just give it a wash. Give it a cleanse of bleach or something when it gets here. And Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is coming all the way from the UK. So let's see how that comes when it does. Yeah. I think I might throw in a couple more orders soon. It's not like games that I need, but I have this checklist that I want to get done. And it's also just out of boredom. It's just, all right, Afterpay is a thing now on eBay, which just makes it even more inviting to buy stuff. Like, what's that? Bomberman Zero, that reboot that nobody liked, that was dark and gritty. That's $20 with a manual. And it's, PAL region, and I can get it within Australia, and it's $20. Oh, so there's Afterpay on that. All right. So what? $5 down? Okay. And then it's, $2.50 a week or whatever, It's just so inviting. So that's why I just did a massive run recently. And it all adds up in Afterpay when you get a whole bunch going at once, but I don't give a shit. I really don't. And it's just something to look forward to, man. Like, nothing to do around here. Oh, I got a notification. Oh, what's that? Oh, there's something waiting for me at the post office. Gives you an excuse to go outside and do something because there's not much to do that's open. So, this is the world we're living in. Speaking of the world that we're living in, the first thing I want to talk about straight away is Battletoads. So, look, I like Battletoads. Back in the day, it's a stupidly hard game. I've never finished one. Even the Battletoads Cross Double Dragon game that came out. Never finished it. I really liked that game. That Double Dragon Battletoads game was very, very good. But the Battletoad games themselves, never finished one. They're just very difficult. And anyway, they're bringing it back. It's one of the properties that I thought would never come back. And a few years ago, here we are. I think 2013 or no, it's only a couple of years ago. I can't remember. The years are all blending in between. They announced with some reveal trailer that Battletoads is coming back. The theme song on there and the logo showed up. And I think you saw one of the toads. But I don't know. I remember at the time going, oh, I don't really like that art style. Yeah, I'm just going to switch over to picture-in-picture mode here. So look, I'm gonna play this trailer I saw this morning, and man, it's a release date trailer, and they're just doubling down on this art style. I thought the game disappeared for 2 or 3 years or something, what it feels like, and I thought just based on the feedback that they just went back to the drawing board, to swap out all the sprites and stuff with the better art style. It's a massive call. I don't know what kind of undertaking that would entail, but it reminds me very much of the recent Nickelodeon, was it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, some subheading. It's just really minimalistic, sharp corners, real angular characters and odd design choices. They all look weird. They don't look like your traditional turtles, and it's not CG animated. It's proper like one of those 2D animated cartoons. Anyway, look, rambling on this. I'm just trying to explain my disappointment before we watch this trailer. So let's have a watch.
Not just any intruders, the soon-to-be famous
Battletoads?
It's the Queen!
Wait! We can team up! Now that you're here, we can execute my plan to defeat the Topians together.
Sup, Topian scum? We just stole a spaceship and we're coming for you.
Did that voice just say it was going to destroy us?
Who would want to destroy you? You've got the most amazing shape.
Turbo bikes, baby! All I ever wanted was to be a famous hero, for real. And now I am one.
We're not heroes, Rash. We're puppets.
I am not a puppet.
Buy our video game!
Yeah, that's just like one of 1,000 phrases.
Things are about to get very, very dark.
Oh, yeah. Yum yum time.
I'm so pumped. We're gonna be famous.
August 20. Surprise, surprise. Right, I'm just going to let that loop so we've got some visual aid here. Alright, so you got Rash, Zitz, and Pimple. They're coming back. But I'm not really a fan of this. I'm really not. The way that Rash looked in the Killer Instinct games, or game that came out, the reboot, I should say, the 2013 version of Killer Instinct. He was part of one of the DLC characters from like other Microsoft properties. There's a bit of a Smash Bros thing happening there for a while, where every season they would release like a Arbiter from Halo, General Ram from Gears of War, and there was Rash from Battletoads. That kind of thing was happening, so that was pretty cool. Killer Instinct is like the most underground Smash Brothers that Microsoft doesn't know that it has. So I don't know why they didn't just double down on that. But anyway, the design of how he looked in that game got me excited, because I thought that was like a soft announcement or soft hint of something to come. Clearly it might have been, but not like this. And like in Shovel Knight, the Xbox version, you can find the Battletoads in there, which was a neat little Easter egg, and you can fight one of them. Anyway, so this is all way before this game was announced or revealed, I should say. And I think everybody had the same impression of like, ooh, I don't know about that art style. Like it's very, I get the 90s vibe of it, and clearly that's evident in the trailer and how they react, and like, the radical and the attitude and all that kind of stuff. I get it, but I don't think it's not bad. I'm not saying that it looks bad or it's badly animated or like any of that. Clearly this appeals to a particular demographic. I just don't think I'm that demographic. Like the expectations I had, I thought it was going to be a proper, 3D beat 'em up reboot with proper, modern graphics, and I think that could have been a home run. I guess this makes it more inviting or accessible to a younger crowd. It's not going to be dark and gritty and stuff like that Killer Instinct version was. But the old games kind of were a bit dark and weird, and I don't want to say gritty, but there's some disturbing imagery in those old games. So, yeah, I don't know. I will say I am a little disappointed. It seems to be a common thing lately with just these Xbox reveals coming out. I don't know if it's just me or if it's because I'm stuck at home all the time and my expectations are a bit skewed, but or I'm just getting older, and they're just targeting a younger demographic. Part of that, I'm going to go into my next topic, just touching on that. But I don't know. I'm going to play it. I have no barrier of entry. It's on Game Pass. I don't have to throw any money down. It's just going to be there August 20, and I can play it. And I'm probably going to enjoy it, right? So I don't really have much to complain about. I'm glad that it's back. Battletoads is one of those properties that's always been cool and just a bit different. Like, it's on that Ninja Turtle craze, like whenever all that was happening, and there was all those rip-offs, I'll say, that came out at the time. They had their own cartoon. I don't know how long it lasted, but they were a thing. They were in the zeitgeist at the time in the 90s, and one of the more unique character trios or character teams of that era. So it's good to see them back anyway. Maybe this will open up to more. It's another Microsoft IP. It's a Microsoft produced property. It's rare. It's not one of these second party deal things like Cuphead that'll go to other platforms later on, I assume. I mean, the Microsoft logos, the Xbox Game Pass, the Rare logo, it's all over it. That's all like Microsoft IP stuff, but it looks to me. No publishing deal in sight. Yeah, but it's Xbox, Windows 10, Game Pass, Steam. So, I mean, a lot of those Xbox first-party games are coming out on Steam as well, like Halo Infinite's coming to Steam. But that's Windows anyway, and that's technically within the Xbox Windows ecosystem, so it is what it is. Who knows, man? Who knows? I could have just not had enough sleep last night because I've just been absolutely hammering myself at the gym, and I've been very tired. Like, I feel like I'm in constant recovery mode. Just, the muscle soreness and the bit groggy kind of when you're waking up because your body needs more sleep to repair itself. And this morning we recorded Let's Talk Games at 6:30 or something this morning, 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning, which is when we always do it. But just the last few weeks has been extra tough because I just want to sleep and recover. So I could just be in the wrong mindset for it. Who knows, man? I could have seen this later on today or tomorrow when I've had more sleep and could have had a better opinion of it. Let me know what you think. Am I off bar here? I don't know what really to think about it. But the accessible aspect and the bright and colourful and the more inviting or demographic related pointers is something that I want to touch on. Pretty much, I'm just going to flow right into it. I'm not going to switch around too much. It's more Halo news. We'll flick over just to this tweet here. I'm kind of getting over talking about Halo and how in the negative aspects at the moment, and that was one of the things I dropped this morning when we were talking about a few things in the podcast. Not that I'm not waiting for it or I'm not keen to play it. I'm just getting sick of the negative messaging that's around everything all the time. Like, Xbox just can't get a break. The showing is disappointing, and I've gone on record and saying that I wasn't. It wasn't exactly what I was hoping for, but I just have to play the finished version and see for myself, or hopefully they release something next month in the Xbox showcase in August, whatever they're doing there, to kind of clear up any discrepancies or show us something that's more complete, from a more complete demo, a more complete build, to kind of put that narrative to bed and just go, look, this is actually what it's going to look like, not here's a demo that's old to showcase. That was just a poor move. they really need to get on top of that messaging. Anyway, they've come out with this. I'm pretty sure this was to be revealed at a later date, but this announcement sounds like it was pushed out just based around all this negativity. So you've probably read it already, but Halo Infinite's multiplayer is coming free to play. That's massive. Absolutely massive. Like, talk about barriers for entry. Like your Game Pass, like I was talking about Battletoads just now. Like there's no risk for me to play it. Nor this is even, anyone can play it. Like, they say free to play. I don't know. They say more details will be shared later, but does that mean you need Game Pass in order to get that free to play, or what? Yeah, that's. I had a look around for the clarification, but they're not talking about that yet. They're not going to do a beta for this, which is I don't know whether to be concerned about that or not. But I think they learnt a lot of lessons with their last beta for like the Master Chief Collection and all that stuff. Just didn't turn out too well at all. There's not going to be any loot boxes, which is good. Like, no real money loot boxes. So they've already confirmed that there's no rec packs or as well, like the last couple of Halo games have had, which is great. I hope they bring back Warzone. That was probably the best part about Halo 5. It was a massive multiplayer map. Felt like Destiny a bit. But maybe this massive game is going to be just that, but bigger. The multiplayer beta I meant may not happen, just depending on what happens. Like, there's an article, you can find it on GameSpot and whatnot. There was a quote there saying, given how big this game is, they don't know if they can actually facilitate a beta for it. So they might just have to launch it and see what happens. So that, I mean, it's not sounding positive. It does sound like it's just not quite right yet. Like, they just need to put it back in the oven for a little bit longer. And I really think the narrative is they want to launch. They want the Halo game to launch with the new Xbox, because it's been the first time since the original Xbox that they've had a Halo launch for a console. I get that, but to what end? What do you sacrifice in doing that? Like, yeah, you get that kind of feather in your cap. Like, yeah, we launched a new console with a new Halo, but what if it sucks? What if it could have benefited from another 6 months of developer time or polish? We'll see. It's August now. There's 4 months or so till the assumed release date of the Series X and this game. So we'll see what happens. They've confirmed that it does indeed, like, they've confirmed this already, but they confirmed it again in this announcement that this is following Master Chief's story sometime after Halo 5. Sometime after that finished. That's their wording. Follows Master Chief's story sometime after Halo 5 Guardians conclusion. So, are we even going to see Halo 5's conclusion? Do they even know how that ended? I'm just like, oh, far out. I'm making a big deal about that because Halo 5's ending was such a massive cliffhanger, almost to the point of Halo 2's cliffhanger. And 5 years later, and we're still friggin' hanging on. I know I am, because it was such a holy fuck moment for, at least was to me. And if they're just like, yeah, it's sometime after then, and that just sounds like to me they're not even gonna like cross that off. Just they're not gonna show us what happened or whatnot. Are we just gonna wake up and Master Chief's there floating in space, and then that pilot comes along and picks him up? That footage that we've seen. Like, is that just the very start of the game? Like, oh, god damn it. Anyway, split screen, yes. 2-player split screen local, and there's 4-player multiplayer for the campaign and multiplayer, of course, online. So 2-player with someone on the campaign and multiplayer, and 4 players all online. So that's cool. You can still do split screen. That's a trademark Halo thing. Like, everybody, I know, at least when I was growing up with Xbox in this game, we would split screen the shit out of this game, and many others have that same story. So it's good that they're kind of holding on to that, and it probably explains why they chose the art style that they did, that it's not so graphically intensive. And that was something they touched on that article, that the decision for the way it looks was a conscious thing. Like the art style is what they wanted and what they're going for and what they're sticking with. But they do understand that what we saw wasn't the final version of it, and they're going to try and show us what it actually looks like later. Which it's just this whole messaging, this whole rollout of this is just not ideal. And the fact that the ray tracing on Series X isn't at launch, it's a post-launch patch. That's concerning. Just how complete is this game going to be? Like, I understand that these kind of live service games, you can just put them out and then fix them up later, but it's not a good look. It's just the more you talk about it, the more kind of despondent you get about it. I want to be hyped for this game. It's a new Halo. I want to be excited, but it's just constant like, oh, what the hell, what are you thinking? Anyway, there's going to be some player customization, like Halo Reach, where you had your armor slots that you could sort out, customize your own Spartan. That's cool. Makes sense for the multiplayer aspect. Is that going to cross over to the main campaign? Like if you hit pause or whatever on the campaign and bump out to multiplayer, and if you unlock some items or gear or whatever, cosmetics, does that carry back over into the main campaign, or are you just playing as, Spartan 117, Halo, John, all that? Is the Spartan that you're playing in multiplayer, is it just your own Spartan, not John? Obviously, probably not. I mean, there's not going to be like 60 Johns running around, is there? I'm 117. No, I'm 117. And the Forge map editor is actually coming back. I honestly do not know how this is going to go. Forge multiplayer, or the Forge map editor, is essentially like, just think of Super Mario Maker, but for Halo. And Forge has been around since Halo 3. That was massive, super popular. And you can make your own multiplayer custom maps, custom game types and stuff. And like some tried and true fan favorite Halo modes, that were made official out of this Forge community. So it's a big deal. And they say, there's going to be some extra features that'll be a first for this version of Forge. So that'll be interesting for those who are, like-minded to be using that and making their own levels. I've had a lot of fun with that in the past with friends online, just doing random game types. A lot of fun, man. Very, very interesting. And how big this game is, how high is the ceiling, like on this kind of thing. So like those are just some new points that have come out that I thought was worth talking about. I mean, this free-to-play part particularly is a massive deal. Absolutely huge. Like when you look at the landscape at the moment, where a lot of the biggest first-person shooters or hero shooters or whatever that are on at the moment are all free to play, like your Apex, your what's the other one? Fortnite, all that kind of shit. It's all free to play, free to jump in. Paladins is another one. So if something as big as Halo goes, I am in this too. I am the next free to play, shooter thing. That's a massive deal. They need to clarify the free to play. Like, do you need an Xbox Game Pass subscription in order to classify it as free to play, or can you just play it? Like if you're on PC and you don't have Game Pass, much like Apex and Fortnite and all that shit, can you just play it? Like I know with Fortnite, I think you need an Epic account or something like that. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. Either way, man, like this is huge. And Halo Infinite's coming to Xbox Game Pass anyway, so even if you have Game Pass, no big deal. It's going to be there for you. But a whole portion of Halo is now free. I had no idea. Like there were rumors for ages about a battle royale Halo, and I was like, "Fuck off! No one wants that. Literally, no one wants another battle royale." But like another free-to-play shooter multiplayer. I mean, Halo's made its bread and butter on Halo multiplayer anyway. Multiplayer has been a tried and true stay, and what built the fan base and the following for it. Like the campaign and the story, yep, massive reason why anybody loves Halo in the first place. But what kept Halo going has been the multiplayer for years, and people still play Halo 3 multiplayer, which some would say, or even Halo 2. Now that the Master Chief Collection's out, a lot of people have gone back to Halo 2 multiplayer, which is still kind of considered as, the best. And I'm not going to deny that. It's still very, very good. But yeah, look, there's a lot of points that are just all like WTFs amongst all this good news. I do wish this was more sorted out and more. I wish this was a more complete package leading up to the launch. Like, it should just be this straight up, like, yep, we're all together, everything's in line. You know, we don't need to delay anything. Everything's going to be there when you need it, and it's a graphical showcase, and all that. That's what I was hoping. But I'm sure once it comes out and I start playing it, I'm going to forget all about all this shit, and I'm just going to be like, wow, this is cool. Yeah, cool. Halo's back. Awesome. We can only hope. Yes. Right. Enough about Halo for a bit. I'm literally so fucking sick about talking about Halo. Like, between myself, people online, the Let's Talk Games podcast, and just the YouTube commentary that's all over my feeds, I'm literally so sick of it. And because it's just, everybody doesn't know. Even when they've come out with some messaging now explaining away some of these things, because you've got everybody and their dog wanting to have a piece of the pie, and because our content is, you've got everybody talking about it for a couple of weeks, and there's nothing else to watch. You just end up skipping over everyone, or at least I do. I don't know about anyone else, but I can only watch a couple of people's opinions that I always watch, or just reliable sources, and then I just tune out, because by that point, nobody knows what's going on. And I clearly don't either. I'm just saying, like, in case you guys are out of the loop, I want to talk about it as long as I feel I want to. So if there's more news that comes out, if it's something new that I haven't already talked about, I will probably say something or give my opinion on it. But if it's anything to do with what I've just talked about, at least the points that I've gone through, if there's any more news on any of those points, that'll be considered a new thing. But I'm not going to talk about anything that I've already talked about in the same context, because I'm moving on. I'm over it. As far as I'm concerned, the game can just come out and just let's get past it. But there's something that actually does excite me and made me happy over the weekend. And I'm going to play this in the background. No audio, because I'm not going to get claimed. But yes, Netflix, you see. The War for Cybertron Chapter 1 came out. Look at it. A very stunning show. Not going to sugarcoat it at all. Just going to take a sip. Coffee. Oh. This was a dark ass show, man. I didn't leave myself any notes for this. I'm just going to talk off the cuff. I loved this. This is the Transformers that I've wanted since Beast Wars. Like, Beast Wars is still the top tier. It's the best written Transformers show. It's the best voice acted Transformers show. It's created some of the best Transformers lore across any of the medium. I don't care, like the comics, any of the other cartoons. Beast Wars is the top. The 1984 series is great because it's G1. And that's where it all stemmed from. That's where all the memorable voices come from. That's where all the memorable characters come from. All the initial lore comes from there. The music, the art style, the characters that you grew up, or at least I grew up with. I've recently watched those, and the show does still hold up, but you can tell it's legit a Saturday morning cartoon. It just wouldn't fly today. And the animation's just absolutely terrible. This one is a step above a lot of other Transformers shows. Armada, I really like Transformers Armada. America Supreme, oh my god. Now, I'm probably going to speak some spoilers here, so if you haven't watched it, or if you don't really care, or whatever, just letting you know, I did. Oh, that's right. I was going to prepare like a little badge to come on screen when I was going to talk about spoilers, but this is a catch-up episode. I don't care. Where was I? Yeah, so this I very much enjoyed this iteration of Transformers. A lot better than I initially thought it was going to be honest. Because some of the same team that did this were from the Primal trilogy that they did with Machinima, that was absolutely abysmal. Just abhorrent, even. I strongly disliked the Primal Trilogy. It was nonsensical. Nothing made sense. There were plot issues all over the place. Voice acting was terrible. Animation was shoddy. Just you name it. It was just very, very not good. However, this, the first shot you see was like, wow, that's a stunning ass shot. And you know exactly what you're in for. I was quite taken away. The tone of this was just spot on, exactly what I wanted. Like I said, it was dark, and there's some very dark moments in this 6-episode chapter, to the point where I even felt like, oh, this is a bit uncomfortable. Like I just Transformers, I've never seen Transformers go there in animation before. Like I know there's some dark shit that happens in some of the comics, but you just don't see that on the screen for a wider audience, and particularly kids, which this is not for kids, but it's not so egregious that a child couldn't watch it, I will say though, Megatron, this is the first Megatron that's been intimidating since like the Beast Wars Megatron, you knew not to muck with him, but he was just so kind of lovable. He's just very well spoken and eloquent, and he had his imposing moments, and you knew not to muck with him, but it was never like this. Like this Megatron was just, you just don't muck with him. The Decepticons basically have won basically by this point. When you look at the comparisons, where when Megatron's giving speeches, it's like in a bloody big screens around him. Oh, what's the word? Not a coliseum, but a big a big stadium filled rallying cry kind of thing when he's talking to his Decepticons, and very much he's got like a iron grip on Cybertron by this point. And when you juxtapose that against the Autobots, like they're at a desperation point, and the actions that they make, or the choices that they make, it is to the point of desperation. I'm trying not to spoil things as much as I can. I know I said I was just going to go straight through and spoil things, but where possible I won't, because I just double thinking about it now. I really enjoyed it, and I'd like others to as well. But yeah, this is a very dire point in the conflict, and there's very few left of the Autobot team, and like you can see some of it here. Like people are just being put back together left and right. Optimus Prime is like, he's almost past it, and Megatron knows that he's almost there, and even he's getting to the point of desperation because he just wants it to end. Both of them just want it to end. They're over it. They do allude to some of what happened before the show starts. Some of the backstory there, they allude to some of that just in a couple of lines. Nothing that you really they didn't need to show you or anything like that, but some of the dialogue between Ultra Magnus and Megatron, and Optimus and Magnus, or even Megatron and Optimus, like some of the dialogue between the three of them at different points of the show, it does give you the sense that these guys have been at it for a very long time, and they all knew each other before it all went down. So it's kind of almost personal in some aspects. One part in particular for Megatron was very, very personal. And the way they did that scene, you could tell... how do I say it without spoiling it? You could tell what was happening actually got to him. And he didn't want it to happen, but he knew it had to in order to get what he wanted. And I hope that kind of gets it across. Like, this Megatron is conflicted. Like, he knows what he wants. He knows he's the badass. He knows he can just steamroll over anybody. But he's got a sense of honor about him. And that's the whole reason why he hasn't just slaughtered everybody. But the Decepticons are getting to this point where even Starscream is... you can see Starscream already manipulating the situation. The Starscream they nailed on this. I really enjoyed this Starscream. So those things are already happening. Megatron, I'm going to talk about Megatron a bit here because he was the strongest part of this show, I think. Even the voice actor, man, goddamn, just made him really dark and mean and kind of creepy. Like, I don't know, I found this Megatron intimidating, imposing. His voice is creepy and unsettling. Just the hint of evil was in there. And as the show went on, you could tell this Megatron is kind of accepting, like, all right, this is my next step. This is the next step I need to make in order to achieve my victory, because I'm not getting anywhere the way I'm doing it now. And yeah, I won't say any more on that because I'm kind of already getting to the point where I might be suggesting a bit too much here. But Optimus, I'll talk about Optimus a bit. This Optimus is not the well-seasoned leader that we kind of all know or expected to, and that's understandable. I mean, this is pre-Earth. Like, this is the last days of the Cybertron War, and he's just still figuring things out. And there's some parts where he loses his cool, which you don't really see. Like, even in G1, Optimus Prime lost his cool a couple of times at his fellow Autobots. And just watching them more recently, I forgot about all of that. And I was like, oh, he yelled at them. Oh my god. I don't remember Optimus Prime yelling at anybody. And then watching this, I was like, oh, okay, like, he's still kind of the same Optimus Prime. It's not Peter Cullen. It's not any of the original voice cast. That did take me the whole entire run to realize and accept that this is another guy trying to do an Optimus Prime. And there were legit times where it did sound like someone trying to do an impression of Peter Cullen's Optimus Prime. And it was very distracting, not going to lie. Because, I mean, that voice is just something else. That the way Peter Cullen does Optimus Prime, very few can actually lend a candle to it. The last person I saw that was anywhere remotely close was John Bailey, the epic voice guy that you know on YouTube and the trailers, honest trailers and that. Go look him up on his social media and on his YouTube channel and stuff. God, he does, even like recently he's gotten very good at it. And he does a very good Peter Cullen Optimus Prime. He does the recent War for Cybertron Toys commercials as Optimus Prime. There was a recent Earthrise one that went up the other day, and even I was like, is that they get Peter for that? And I was like, no, you can just tell. You can tell it's not. And I've heard John Bailey's Prime enough times where you're like, oh no, that's John. So this guy, I think they should have got John Bailey to do it. If they really wanted to get someone that sounded like Optimus Prime, they should have just got John Bailey if they're not going to pick up Peter Cullen. This Megatron in no way, shape and form is trying to emulate Frank Welker's Megatron from the 80s. Not even slightly. Even when Frank Welker came back for Transformers Prime, he was a little different than just... And he sounded awesome. He wasn't the Saturday morning Megatron, I'll tell you that, on Transformers Prime. But yeah, I don't know what else I can say without spoiling too much of this. It's only 6 episodes, unfortunately, but when you watch them back to back, it's like a 2 hour 20 movie. Like most episodes are 22, 24 minutes each. So that's not bad, man. That's a good runtime for a animated film essentially. And there's not much pacing issues. Like nothing really slows down. I intend to watch it again this week. I really want to sit and watch this again with a knowing what happens kind of perspective. So, I mean, you can see people, they're impaling Autobots, these Decepticons. Like they're getting very like to the point where they're getting ruthless. They just want this to end. So they're just like, pulling people apart, putting them up on spikes and laughing at them. And, they give you the good perspective of the difference between the two, where Optimus Prime is just fighting for peace. Megatron wants to make a deal, he wants the Autobots to surrender. Like, he doesn't want to kill them all. He just wants them to surrender. At first, I'll say that. At first, that's, they were talking about Megatron was talking about his treaty that, you haven't accepted my treaty. Rah, rah, rah. So there's a lot of honor there in this Megatron, and this Megatron is trying to keep that going with his Decepticons, but they're all just getting jack of it, and they're just like, why don't we just kill them all? And he's conflicted about that. Like, he knows very well he could probably just end the war very quickly if he just went that ruthless. But so in that aspect, it's good to see, like, this is character building, right? And that's a good thing. Like, this Megatron is not the Megatron that we knew, because that Megatron hasn't happened yet, as well as this Optimus. Like, he's a desperate Optimus trying to keep as much hope as he can and be as positive as he can when there's so many people around him telling him other things that he should be doing. And Alita 1 comes in, and there's like a bit of a romance thing happening, and that's always been the thing. Alita 1's always been kind of Optimus Prime's fembot, and she was very cool in this. I really liked her. And she kind of played the role of, like, she would be saying to Optimus what everybody else is thinking, kind of thing. Like, she's like, what the fuck? Half the time with some of the stuff that Optimus is doing, but Optimus is like, no, like, I know what I'm doing. But yeah, you can see the frustration happening with Optimus, because he's like, nothing's coming together. This isn't working. I'm trying everything I can, all this kind of stuff with the limited resources that they have. So yeah, I could talk about this series at length, because I very much enjoyed it. I know it's not perfect. There's some characters in here that are fan favorites that didn't get just deserves, or they just were, they were just given like the one side treatment, or just like they were just treated as like a background character, even though they're legit like a very popular fan favorite character. And then other character choices that they made to, the selection of characters here, basically the characters that were on offer from the first year of this War for Cybertron toy line. This is based off the Siege, like 2019, mid through 2020-ish storyline, or I should just say like most of 2019, basically. All these characters are from. So they didn't have free reign to choose anybody and everyone from Transformers history. They had to choose some characters from the actual toy line. So everyone you see in this was part of that chapter of the storyline, the toy line. So I'll give them that. But then saying that, some of the toys in that line were actually given prominent roles in this show that were questionable, which I would have assumed would have been other characters. So I don't know what was up with that, but I guess, there's nothing wrong with trying to use new characters, I guess. Because maybe they would have got a complaint from someone on the internet going, oh, we've seen all these characters before. Why don't they use new characters? So there would have been that. So I get it. Anyway, I think they can learn a lot from what they did with this first chapter going into the next one, because there's confirmed that there's 2 more chapters. So next one will be Earthrise, and the one following that is called Kingdom, which I am very much in 2 minds about. Earthrise, I have no idea what's going to happen for the TV show, but Earthrise is to represent, basically, as it says, when they arrive on Earth. So you kind of get an idea of how this first part ends. I won't tell you how it ends, but it's well documented Transformers lore that they leave Cybertron and crash landed on Earth and stuff. But how that happens always kind of differs depending on the continuity and story that's being told. So there's a lot of surprises in this. So if I was to give it a rating, I hate giving ratings for shit, but I'd probably give it a 7.5 or an 8, I think, out of 10. I think there's room to grow here. If they keep the tone, like, I hope the next one, they just do not have humans. Like, just avoid humans. I hate... Some of the worst parts of Transformers are the human aspects. I don't care what people say, like, oh, but the putting humans in it, builds a bridge and makes us relate to them more. It's like, fuck off, it does. We're here to watch the Transformers. This isn't Spike Wiki and the Transformers. No one gives a shit about Spike or Daniel or, what's his name? Whoever's dad that is, Sparkplug. No one gives a shit. Or the guy in the wheelchair, or the chick, I can't remember her name. No one cares about the humans. Particularly when season 3 came along, you barely saw any of the humans. It was all on Cybertron, you know. So I don't know. I do have my worries for the second chapter that they're going to come on Earth and wake up, and obviously they have to get Earth modes because of the toys. So I worry that they're going to put some human in there and waste a whole bunch of time. Because if it's going to be another 6 episodes, my God, do not waste your time on the human aspect and trying to build that relationship with a bunch of useless humans. Continue your war on Earth, and let's see how this goes. But man, what a strong start. Like I said, I haven't really liked any Transformers show since the 84 show, Beast Wars, and Transformers Armada. And like, we're talking from the 80s until now, 2020. There's been a lot of Transformers content in between those ones, and all of it's been shit. Like, literally all of it has been shit. Or not, or literally made for like 3-year-olds, whereas the 84 show you could still watch as an adult. Beast Wars was ahead of its time, and you could still watch it as an adult. Armada, you could probably never watch again, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the character designs on that, the storyline. Some of the animation was good. Most of the time it was shit, but it was unique. So those ones are the ones that I hold as like the best. And then you've got the War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron PS3 and 360 games, which are just stellar, by the way. If you don't like this, go play those games, because it's similar tone, similar dark kind of theme, but there's more time to kind of enjoy it. But yeah, go watch it. I mean, it's Netflix. It's on there. It doesn't really cost you much opposed to however your normal subscription is, so you've got really no excuse. And it's only 6 episodes, 2 hours out of your night, 2.5 hours max out of your night. Go for it. Hopefully you enjoy it. Yeah, God, I want to talk about... There's more scenes in this that I can tell you about that... Nah, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. Go enjoy it. I'm literally going to go watch it again, I think maybe tomorrow night. But yeah, look, that's shit. We're running a bit long on this again. I know my last couple have been a bit long. I like to try and keep it within half an hour, 40 minutes, rather than the full hour. So I'll just start wrapping it up now. So we'll jump over to just the full Windows Me. Blah, blah, blah. There we are. So yeah, hopefully some of that has been newsworthy to you, or you've taken away from some of that. I do appreciate your time. I say this every episode, but I'll always say it every episode, because time is a precious commodity, and if you chose to spend it listening to me waffle on, I do appreciate it very much. As I said, probably going to hop on Twitch later on tonight, depending on how I feel. It'll either be Twitch or Transformers. But I need to do some drawing. Now I've got this new desk set up. I haven't had a go at making sure my drawing monitor works, and I want to do some drawing. So if you head over to Twitch, just search for Uncle Chunt. Obviously, I'll be on there. Throw me a follow and shit. And yeah, until next time, take it easy. Just times are shit, and just have to enjoy what you can, where you can. There's nothing more that I can really say in that, but I'm going to keep doing this because I do get some positive feedback from some people that they look forward to my videos and stuff, which is basically the whole reason why I continue to do them. I know not many people watch them. I don't really care, but for the few that actually do chime in, and it's like the odd 20 people or whatever that come in every week. That's good. I do it for them basically, and it's something for me to do. And if it brightens someone's day, then that's good. And I enjoy doing it. So I'll catch you next time. I guess it'll either be Wednesday, I think. Wednesday night, maybe Thursday night, which is my usual time I do these. I really need to sort out a structure, because Let's Talk Games, Ranty Beards is coming up again, and CHUNTCAST, and then my drawing stuff. I really need to get a banner sorted of like, here's me on these days at these particular times. And make a banner out of it, and calendar items and shit. I'm just so popular and busy. Jesus. Anyway, I'm going to go, and yeah, enjoy yourselves. Catch you next time. Outro.
Like, comment, subscribe.